The mammalian brain for Greg gives him the capability of having a fight or flight capability. There is a third F in fight or flight. Do you know what it is? Freeze. If you put somebody under pressure, what do? They fight, they flee, or they freeze. And I'll tell you this now, many of your employees are in the freeze category, not in the fight or flight. We'll come back to that one too. So now he's got a mammalian brain, which has now given him also the ability to control his body temperature. We're really flying high now. 150,000 years ago, Greg's ancestors appeared as he is today. And what they had was what's called the frontal lobe or the human brain or the learning brain. It is 85% of your brain. So he's got all this Ferrari power in that forehead, all wrinkled up, and it weighs 3.5 pounds, and it's 85% water. Think about this. He's 85% water, his brain. 85% of it is the Ferrari brain. And unfortunately, how much of his brain gets used, do you think? Well, that's a fallacy, but it's probably a little bit more. Pardon?
Everything gets used.
Everything gets used is what we... Some point in time. Good man. It'll be worth a ticket. Next one. So now he's got a learning brain. Now that's fine, but the problem with the learning brain is there's a thing in the brain in the system called RAS, called Reticular Activator System. And Reticular Activator System was put in place by Mother Nature because she did not trust you. So what happens is Greg today is under pressure. Greg is driving on the 401 and somebody runs him off the road. What's going to happen to, what brain is going to kick in automatically for him? Pardon? No, the reptilian's fine. The reptilian say, you know, I'm not touching this. The mammalian brain catches in because the mammalian brain was the seat of emotion. Has anybody read Goleman's book? Emotional Intelligence. He had a walnut-sized, walnut-shaped part in inner brain called the amygdala. What happens now, John's driving along, the amygdala's sitting there doing its thing, and this guy drives him, gets him going, runs him off the road. RAS says, uh-oh, we got a problem. The amygdala hijacks Greg. The amygdala turns off his learning brain for a few seconds, nanoseconds. So now we have Greg in a state of emotional distress. Do I fight, flight, or freeze? He freezes, he kills himself. If he fights, what does he do? Oh, I'm going to get the bastard. I'm going to run him off the road. Am I right? That thought goes through your head. Now, most of us have... Now, Mother Nature was smart, because what Mother Nature did was she programmed us with... I assume it's a she. She programmed Greg with two messages. One goes directly to his amygdala, and the other goes around a little bit longer circle to his frontal lobe up here. Nanoseconds later, his frontal brain kicks in and says, Greg, my insurance, everything, don't do it, Greg. Don't run him off the road. Not a smart thing. And normally, most of us are okay. We do that. If we have a chemical imbalance, or if we're sleepy, or if we had too much nicotine, too much caffeine, or there's some genetic problem, your grandparents did it to you, you will do something stupid, like run them off the road. Because that happens, and you may be in jail. RAS happens all the time. I give this gentleman here an assignment he can't handle, that he doesn't know how to do. Okay, let's do the same thing. What happens in his brain when he has an assignment he can't do? Is it a fearful thing? It's a fearful thing. I don't know how to do this, and I got to report to Greg, because Greg is a real son of a gun. His brain says, uh-oh, we got a problem. The limbic system is now activated, cortisol gets produced, and what happens? His frontal lobe gets turned off, and he's left with fight or freeze. So what does he do?